Now we will study important theories of evolution. And these are two important theories which have been presented by the different evolutionists. One is Lamarckism and second one is Darwinism. तो सबसे पहले हम Lamarckism को study करेंगे, which is a theory presented by Jean Baptiste Lamarck, and this is considered as a breakthrough at that time. Although this theory was rejected later on, but उस time period में जबकि ये समझा जा रहा था कि there is no variation, there is no change over the time period, और वो सारी species जो कि हमें present time में नजर आ रही हैं, they were exactly present in the same form in past times. So there is no change in our environment, or there was no change from the past. So at that time, Lamarck, he proposed his theory, which is considered as the first theory in the field of evolution. And it is considered as, still it is considered as a breakthrough even after its rejection and even after proposal of Darwinism. So this theory of inheritance of acquired characteristics, or the soft inheritance, it can be explained by the variations which Lamarck observed. He observed that if the organisms they stop using certain organs or they overuse certain organs, so then there would be changes, anatomical changes and morphological changes in those characteristics. And these changes acquired during their lifetime, it will be transferred to their next generation. और इसके लिए Lamarck has proposed different examples, but we will take only one example, which is the most famous or the most popular, that is the length of neck in giraffes. And the other example is the presence of vestigial organs. Lamarck ने propose किया कि, for example, the example of vestigial organ in human beings, which is appendix. He proposed कि when humans, they stopped using the appendix as a functional organ, और वो अपने माइक्रोबायोटा के लिए सीकम पे ज़्यादा डिपेंड करना शुरू हो गए, और अपेंडिक्स का पार्ट जो था वो अबेंडन कर दिया गया. तो with the passage of time, appendix is because of the disuse, it didn't remain functional, and it transformed into a vestigial organ. And similarly, in comparative anatomy, they showed that these organs, they resemble to those species where these vestigial organs are still the functional organs. For example, appendix is vestigial in humans, but appendix is functional in other ruminants and other mammals. So that is the one evidence which came from the vestigial organs, that because of the disuse of the organ, it will be reduced, its functionality will be reduced, and this character will be passed on to next generation. So he proposed his law of use and disuse. And this law of use and disuse, it is also correlated with inheritance of acquired characteristics, which means if one organism developed a characteristic feature through adapting to a new way of life in a changed environment, in different demands expected by that environment, imposed by that environment. So those characters which are acquired during the lifetime of that animal, इन ये सारे acquired characters उसकी next generation को transfer हो जाते हैं. So after the law of use and disuse, that was the theory of Lamarck, inheritance of acquired characteristics. And it can be explained with the help of the example of giraffe. And in this case, Lamarck ने ये propose किया कि giraffe के ancestors, they have the shorter necks, because वो एक ऐसे environment में रहते थे जहाँ पर trees का size या उनकी height भी shorter थी. इसलिए giraffe के ancestors को, they don't have to make any struggle, or they don't have to pull their necks to catch the leaves or to eat the leaves from the trees. लेकिन जैसे जैसे environment change होता चला गया, climate change होती चलेगी, छोटे trees ख़त्म हो गए, shrubs ख़त्म हो गई, और वहाँ पर taller trees survive करना शुरू हो गए. Resultantly, giraffe के ancestors को they have to pull their necks, और उनको दरख्तों के जो taller दरख्त थे उनमें से पत्तों को पकड़कर खाना पड़ा वहाँ पर. तो ये that was the one character which they adopted during their lifetime. And with the passage of time, because now they have to make struggle to eat those leaves from the taller plants, taller trees, their neck length was increasing. So now they have longer necks. And that character of longer neck, which they acquired during their lifetime, they transferred it to their next generations. Lamarckis theory को हम इस image से explain कर सकते हैं. That is, an ancestor of the giraffe, according to Lamarck, was shorter in height, but at the same time, trees were also short, or the shrubs were also short. So there was no struggle to catch or to eat these leaves from these shorter trees. But with the change of environment, trees की height increase करना शुरू होगी, और resultantly, giraffe, they have to make struggle and they have to stretch their neck to catch and eat these trees from higher or the taller trees. So resultantly, they acquired an increase in length in their neck, or the neck was a bit longer as compared to previous generation. So this is only generation 1, 2, 3 and 4. So they were acquiring this character during their lifetime. The next generation faced different environment. यहाँ पर shorter shrubs, shorter trees, they were eliminated, or maybe they were in shortage, or taller trees, they were in abundance. तो उसके रिजल्ट में जिराफ की पॉपुलेशन को दे हैव टू स्ट्रेच मोर देयर नेक्स. रिजल्टेंटली नेक की लेंथ और इंक्रीज होती चली गई. सो दैट वाज द एक्वायर्ड कैरेक्टर ड्यूरिंग their lifetime in a morphological anatomical feature, and they transfer this feature to their next generation. So that was the theory of Lamarck of inheritance of acquired characters to the next generation. But that theory was rejected later by the August Weismann during 1896 to 1910. The August Weismann, he performed a series of experiments, and he proved that those characters which are achieved during the lifetime, they can't be transferred to the next generation. In his experiment, what he did, he cut off the tail of the mouse. So that is the progeny of the parents, and he amputated their tail, and then he inbred these parents, but their offsprings, they have tail. So the loss of tail, this character was not transferred to their next generation. And he performed this same experiment for 19 generations. And every time when he cut off the tail, this feature was not transferred to the next generation. So therefore, August Weismann, he suggested that those characters which are occurring, or they are appearing in the morphological features or the somatic tissue of that or the organisms, these characters are not transferred to the next generation, and only those changes and variations which occur in germ cells, they are transferred to next generations. So the theory of acquired characters and its inheritance, that was rejected. So these characteristics, which are those characteristics or those the variations which are occurring in DNA, which is actually the hereditary material, only these characters can be transferred to next generation. So that was the foundation of modern genetics, which means that the DNA is hereditary material, and the traits which are expressed by the genes, only these traits and characters can be transferred to next generation. So although the theory of Lamarck was rejected, but it is still considered as an important step towards modernization or advancement of the field of evolution.